It took me almost dying to stop and go, hey, this isn't worth it. Being big is not worth dying.
You're taking drugs, you're trying to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you're getting sicker and sicker and sicker. That's bigorexia.
It's a real regime almost.
Oh, hell no.
They're talking about me.
All I needed was one ball.
The science of training.
And I know you don't think it's a sport. How you doing, Brian? This is Vlad from Generation I. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, brother. How are you doing?
Great, man. Big fan of yours. Very excited to be talking to you, man.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. What is your typical day like during the prep for a competition like this? Can you take me through your day and as far as the dieting and the training?
Yeah. So my days are pretty busy. I've got a lot of different stuff going on. It looks a lot different than when I was first getting started in the sport. So back then I only had to worry pretty much about eating and training and that type of stuff. And now I've got a lot of business and things that I have to do so I'm pretty regimented. So I obviously get up in the morning, start every morning with a walk. That's just, I like to clear my head and get myself ready for my day. After that, then eat breakfast, and typically from there I go into doing business stuff, basically for either Shaw Strength or Evolution Athletics, emails, just a variety of different things. And then normally I almost have to set a alarm to eat again because I get so busy with that stuff. But then I eat and try to eat a couple more times, and then once I've got all that handled, then go into training. Typically my training sessions, around during the week, probably 2 to 3 hours, something like that is what I try to kind of keep it down to. And then I typically do all my event training on the weekend. So on Saturday, it's basically like a full day of events, and that's a little bit longer of a day of training. So that's probably more like 5 hours of training on Saturday. So it's definitely a very regimented system that I have to keep. But it's a lifestyle. I mean, it's just anything else. If you're going to compete, you have to do it day in and day out. You got to make sure you're getting your food in. You got to make sure you get training. You got to make sure you're sleeping and doing your recovery work and everything else. But that's what it takes to be at this level.
Mm-hmm. How much do you eat a day, and what exactly your meals consist of?
We normally I have a guy named Ethan Payton that I work with for my food. So we go through several different diet phases. But the best way that I can really say it is typically in the contest. So I'll kind of bump up, we might add a little bit more meat or a little bit more carbs or whatever as we're going in. But I get upwards of like 10,000 calories a day, sometimes even a little bit more if we throw in some type of cheat food as well. But, this year we didn't really know exactly what the events and the weights were going to be. And so, for me, that actually makes it kind of challenging because you don't want to be too heavy if the events are going to be lighter and you're going to have to move faster. But if the events are for max weight and that type of thing, you want to be a little bit heavier because you're stronger. So it kind of put me in a tough spot this year, not having a lot of information. So I've always felt like for me, kind of around 415 to 425 pounds is kind of a sweet spot where I can still move really well for the strongman events, but then I'm strong enough in the static stuff. So that's kind of where we shot for, and that's about where I'm at right now. I haven't weighed in for a little bit, but I'm somewhere in that ballpark. So actually a little bit lighter than I was or have been the last couple of years, and I feel better. I feel more athletic. So the calories, like the diet and calories for strongman, it really fluctuates, and for me, it's really changes based on the contest I'm trying to get ready for. And so, this year not having a lot of details made that really challenging.
Mm-hmm. Now, it's interesting. A lot of people might not actually know how huge you are. You are 6'8", correct? 6'8", and you weigh, you mentioned, over 400 pounds.
Yep, 60. Yeah, definitely not small. Yeah.
Where do you shop for clothes, man? I saw a video of you trying to go to the Gucci store or something. Did they have? What is your shoe size? You trying to get some shoes or something? Did they have your size of the shoes?
Yeah.
Well, how big are your feet, man?
I wear a size 18 shoe, so it's been. I mean, but I've been dealing with that since I was in high school. Trying to find shoes and order them, and so I mean, it's very hard for me to go to a normal store and just go shop for clothes or anything. So all of my dress clothes have to be custom made. All of that stuff. It's a big challenge. It's a big part of life that I think a lot of people don't understand. When you're big like this and pull on top of it, it really makes it challenging.
No, of course, man. Do you ever think about, because you've done this competition many times, you've set many different records, you're basically the man, on top. Do you think about sort of like post-competition years and how to control the health, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you're healthy, have a longevity basically. Do you think about that ever?
100%, 100%. I've always thought about the long game, so to speak. And so for me, it was trying to make little improvements, like as I was getting started in the sport, and I always wanted to kind of have a slow upward trajectory, meaning that I just kept getting a little bit better, kept getting a little bit better, and then then I could compete for a long time, and feel good and be healthy. So that's kind of what I've been able to do, and it's just the route that I personally chose for myself. But at the same time, I mean, this is going to be my 13th straight world's strongest man, which I believe is a record. I don't think there's other guys that have done combined more, but not 13 in a row. And I mean, it's I've been very consistent, like coming back to the contest. Shape, of course. Had challenges, had little things that have come up, injuries or things that work through, that type of stuff. But having that longevity, I think, speaks to playing long, not not trying, not trying to do too much and get better. And so I do think about that, and of course now, I think about post contest, and when I'm done, and when it's the right time to hang it up and that type of thing. But I had a lot of fun coming into this year, even with all the challenges and things we had to work through. I really it kind of made me go back and think a little bit about what's important, and the enjoyment factor of training. Because at the end of the day, I mean, it's great that I've been able to do all this, but what I this I started for fun. I got into it because I love lifting. I love pushing myself. And, it kind of made me go back to that a little bit more, to my roots of, what was I doing when I first started? I think more about that now, and I really had a good time pushing myself through this prep. So it was a good time.
Do you plan to set any records this at this week's competition?
Well, the main goal for me is to add my fifth World Strongest Man title. So technically speaking, that would tie the record for most titles ever won. Mariusz Janowski also has 5, and right now I'm sitting on 4 with a couple other guys also have 4. So it's that would be a big one, and that's in my mind the most important.
What is the right approach, in your opinion, to go into the strongman competition? Is it better to be calm, relaxed, and peaceful, or is it better to be more on the angry side and more on the, what I'm saying, intense side when you go in there? What's the right state of mind that you go into a competition?
So the best way that I can say this is, if you think about it, a pitcher of water, right? You go into the contest and your pitcher of water is full. We have a bunch of events to do here. So you've got the qualifying round of events. So each one of those events, you have to dump that pitcher of water out just a little bit, but you want to make sure that you don't dump the whole pitcher out. And when you get to the final, you got to make sure that you have as much of that water left in the pitcher, so to speak, as you possibly can. So I think it's better, if you can, to be calm. Only get amped up when you need to get amped up, or only put out as much energy as you need to, because it's a long contest. World Strongest Man. I had to learn that. One of my first years, I was very intense and really really amped up and excited, and I made the final, and I got to the final, and I felt like I was just out of energy, like I was just drained because I had been putting way too much into the qualifiers. So it's a long contest, and to win world's strongest man, you need to be very kind of reserved and have that switch that you can turn on and off, and pour out the energy that you need to. So, some guys, everybody has a little bit different mental approach, and I think that you should constantly be trying to evolve with that as well. Because when you're younger, and maybe it's your first time here or whatever, you may feel like you need to be more amped up, but you kind of learn as you go. And the guys that I think over the long course of competing do better, they can control that a lot better.
Brian, thank you so much. Best of luck to you, man. And it was a great talking to you. I really appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it, brother. You guys have a good one.